I was cracking everybody. New video. Put my water down real quick. New video. Um, this time I hooked my new camera up to my computer. I'm finally back in the lab. We'll see how it goes. Um, but anyways, today's video is going to be something completely different. Then again, it's still prison related, so maybe not. Today's video is going to be about trying to maintain a relationship from prison, right? And you know me, I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give my perspective. This may hurt some people's feelings, but it's the reality. So we're gonna just start from the beginning. So when I went through juvenile hall, I was going through uh, group home, camp, YA, and when I got arrested for my hot one. Um, my daughter's mom was with me the whole time. Right now, I wasn't a loyal person to her. I was a kid. I was in and out of jail. I would do whatever I wanted to do. But when I was in the county, that was back when we still had conjugal visits. They had taken them for a long time in California. But back then we had them, and um, I had 5 chicks that wanted to marry me. Thought I was a player, but I knew that I wasn't going to put my daughter's mom through whatever was in store for me, right? Because I did care about her. And I was like, I'm not going to bring somebody along that I care about. So I wound up breaking up with her in the county jail, right? And by 1995, remember I got busted in 93, I left the county in 1994. By 1995, I had actually cut everybody loose as far as women that wanted to be with me. And the reason why is because, that was a time when nobody was getting out of prison. Nobody even thought about getting out of prison. If you got a life sentence, you were going to do life. You were going to die either on the yard, in a cell, child hall, whatever. You knew you were going to die in prison. So you had to make sure, at least I can only speak from my perspective. I knew, look, I'm not going nowhere. This is me. I'm gonna fucking pay attention to what's going on around me. I don't anything going on outside of these walls doesn't even matter anymore, right? And so I cut everybody loose. I didn't want to write high knots. I didn't want to write any women. I didn't want to have any kind of relationship. I didn't want to have anything in my life that would make me hesitate, that would make me think twice, right? And for a very long time, I stuck to that. And then I had a camarada of mine, and he wanted to, when he'd be, I would be able to get to the phone and he could. He'd be like, hey, can you do me a favor and call my lady for me? Because I would just call family. Can you call my lady and give her a message? Yeah, okay, cool. And his wife, for whatever reason, took a liking to me. And they hatched up a plan. Hey, his wife had a friend that they both felt would be good for me, whatever. And it's funny because that woman wasn't interested in trying to find a relationship, especially with anybody in jail, and I wasn't trying to find a relationship at all. But because we were individually friends with them, we're like, all right. And one thing led to another, and we built a friendship, and then I wound up marrying that person, right? And when I got out, my intentions were to stay married, stay loyal, and rough it out. But reality is what reality is. When a woman is involved with a man in prison, she's on the street, she's doing her thing, she's very independent. She's used to having things her way. Her man in prison is the same way. He's used to having things his way. He's independent. When those two people get out on the streets together, there's going to be a clash because you're both independent. But the thing is, and this is the part that may hurt some people's feelings, but it's been my experience that a lot of women that not all, make sure not all, but a lot of women who choose to go after a guy in prison, it's because of insecurities that they developed in bad relationships they had with men out here. And in any relationship a guy enters, even if a guy that hasn't been in jail, we enter a relationship with a woman and we usually have to suffer the sins of the ex. Coming out of prison after decades of being incarcerated, normally most of us that did decades, we went in as teenagers, you know, or very, very early 20s. We still didn't know who we were. We were still wild. And so to come out and let me say this, I'm going to make it perfectly clear. My ex-wife is a very good person. She's a good woman. Um, she was actually a good wife. But, you know, the the constant thing that a lot of lifers deal with when we get out is we all have the same conversation. Hey, homie, and when you first got out, was your lady tripping on everything? Yes. It's hard. Every time we pick up the phone, who is that? The phone beeps. Who's texting you? You want to go out with the homies, another lifer or whatever. Well, who's going to be there? What bitches are there? Are you going out on a date? And it's so frustrating to have to leave confinement and enter another form of confinement, and it becomes a thing where neither one of you is happy. And then you're trying and she's trying and uh, neither's happy. You feel an obligation. She feels that you owe her something. And in this video, I'm not just talking about my ex. I'm no way am I downing her. She was a good woman, but I will say that in my during my incarceration, I saw, I chose to not engage in a relationship. I couldn't understand how could you be in prison and try to develop feelings for someone outside and make them do time with you when you know you're gonna go to the shoe, you know you're gonna go to the hole, you know what you're gonna be doing behind those walls. You know what I mean? Um, and I did see dudes. I told a story before. I had a Sally, so Sally from Longo, good dude, man. He has to be in my come and be my son. One of my Sallys had went home and he said, "Hey, homie, can I move in with you?" I said, "Yeah." When he moved in with me, he told me, "Hey, the reason why I asked you is because I really like your stilo and I would like you to school me. You know what I mean? I want you to lace me up on, how to do things and shit." And I said, we'll get at it. You know what I mean? Later. And I went to a visit that weekend. He would get a visit every weekend. And when I saw him in visiting, it was him and his wife and their kids. I think he had two kids, you know. And I saw how much his kids meant to him, and I saw how much his wife meant to him. And I knew that was going to be destroyed. If I laced him up, he was going to get in some trouble. He was going to want to conduct himself a certain way where that was going to be gone. And so I chose to move him out. I something else came up, and I was like, "Look, I have to move this vato in." And it was years and years later, um, probably around 2016, 2015, when I ran across another vato from Longo, and he was like, "Hey, my homeboy so and so," and I was like, "Yeah, man, that was my Sally. How's he doing?" He's like, "Oh, he killed himself." And I wondered, like, I wonder if it had something to do with losing his lady, not having his kids in his life. And that's why, to me, it was like I always tripped out on dudes that would, if you really love the woman, you let them go, right? You do your time. You don't be a burden on that person. You get in there, get behind them walls, and you hustle your motherfucking ass off, eh? You're doing that time. I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you, and this again might bust some bubbles, and I'm not trying to do that, and I don't want any woman that has a man behind the walls to write your man, and this is my experience. There have been some success stories, lifers getting out and staying with their wives, but in those experiences that I've seen, damn dog, they've been pretty much the same age, and a lot of times they were Christian. Their relationship was based on the Christianity. Other than that, I've seen a lot of failures, man. And the reason why, in this, for the women that do watch my channel that have a man behind the walls, I'll tell you this: if you love your man and you want to make it work, when he gets out, if his phone rings, that's his business. If you love him and you know he loves you, don't worry about it. Let that man figure out his life and let him be dedicated to you. When you make his life harder, he's gonna start second guessing the life he's in. So yeah, that thing just, I can see the other corner of my right here. The camera zoomed in on me on that one. Apparently that was one of those dum dum dum, one of them moments. But anyways, being serious, I don't know why I decided today I would do this video, but I felt that some people needed it, right? Uh, don't doubt your man. Those of you that have a man behind the wall, don't doubt your man because he's not me. I had every intention on staying, the course of my marriage, but the 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 bickering over, the small things, it just caught up, and I felt like I wasn't happy and I wasn't making the other person happy. And so I really hope she's doing well. Um, and again, if you got a man in jail, trust that man when he gets out. Don't discourage him, encourage him. All right? So with that, everybody stay safe, stay smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this camera. Now I got to figure out how to move this from here to YouTube. Wish me luck. With that, I'm out.